Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Eclipse Kitchen. Here's another Hamburger Helper packaged meal that I figured out how to make from scratch. This one too is very close to the mark, both on taste and how it looks. I often have this when I feel like having the Hamburger Helper Cheesy Italian. Okay, let's pull up the recipe and see what you'll need for this. Here's the ground meat. If you want, you can use the ground Italian sausage with this to give it that extra bit of flavor, but any regular ground meat will do. The pasta in this recipe is entirely up to you. I mostly use the rotani or fusilli pasta as it's close to what's being used in the Betty Crocker Hamburger Helper. At this point, you've probably noticed that I love using this choice of vegetables in my recipes. Again, it's a great balance of flavors to work with. The high quality oil is to keep things from sticking to the pan. It's also a nice way to get vitamins like E and K in the olive oil or E and A in the avocado oil. Both of them also have omega-3 and 9 fatty acids in them as well. The next few ingredients are what's needed to make the cheese sauce. You've got the grass-fed butter and the flour. Those are what's needed to make the French technique called a roux, which is the thickening agent for the sauce. Again, this is something that my grandmother taught me as a kid, and I've always used it whenever I need to make this form of a cheese sauce. The salt, turmeric, mustard, and garlic powder are all essential for this cheese sauce. I've tried different combinations to see what works in terms of flavor, and for me, this particular combination works the best. If you've noticed, none of my recipes have black pepper in them. This is for two reasons. One, because a lot of people have an allergy towards black pepper, and two, I just find it way too overwhelming, even in small quantities. Okay, on to the milk and the cheese. The cheese, you can use whatever you want. Just make sure that it's about 2 cups worth. And the milk is what's going to make this sauce really creamy. The pasta sauce is to help finish off the flavors of the meal. I personally go with the Classico 4 cheese sauce, as this doesn't deter from the cheesy flavors of the meal. The chili sauce and the chili powder are kind of optional. If you do want a bit of sweetness in the meal, you can substitute the chili sauce for zucchini relish. Alright, now on to the main portion of the show. There we go. Cool. So I got that ready. And oh yeah, right, I need to get the other, which is, oh no, big guy. There. Almost forgot my vegetable. So hopefully this will not take that long. I love all my recipes. So again, 2 cups of cheese. Basically, this is what that's about what 1 cup looks like. About half of the amount. So I got 2 cups here, plus an additional because I kind of want it a little cheesy. So I'm just gonna try that. I decided to put all my spices together, so it's all there. The lighting in this room is so terrible, but yeah, I got the mustard, chili powder, garlic, turmeric, oh yeah, and the salt. And then I added a little bit of basil and oregano in it because this is supposed to be cheesy Italian, so I decided to put a couple of Italian spices in there as well. So, just gonna shred the cheese before I start the food here. Got my water ready. I got everything else all measured out. And it should be pretty darn close to how the Hamburger Helper is. So this is the Hamburger Helper Cheesy Italian. Hopefully I got this right. It's been a while since I've actually made this, so doing this from memory is a little on the tough side. try and shred my cheese without shredding my finger. I've had that happen a few times. There we go, and one extra cup because I got extra cheese. So yeah, this will deal with that. I got my vegetables ready. I just have to turn everything on. And I can cook everything about the same amount of time, I think. I might want to cook my vegetables a little bit longer. Although, granted, it's going to be cooking for like 5 minutes outside, so. Or the thicken the sauce with the everything else. And I spilled cheese all over. So there we go, got my cheese shredded. Haha. And there we go. Deal with the dishes in a moment. Meanwhile, so again, I need about 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. I kind of like a little bit more. This type of oil is very good for you. And I'm going to have my good amount of fat content. Just going to get that going. So when I get these vegetables all cooked up, all warmed up, so I kind of like doing these little tacks, because then I don't have to, it cuts down on the food prep, and I know exactly what's in these. So it's just chopped up vegetables that are fruits. So I got red onion, I got green pepper, I got celery, I got carrot. But all I put in my veggie packs. So they're a nice base for everything. Kind of keeps the flavors a little bit neutral. I have another one that's just the peppers and celery, or the onion, pepper, and celery, and that I usually use for like my breakfast bowl or the tacos. So that's that. And I already got my quarter cup of butter, 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of pasta, which will go in there once the water boils. When I get the water to boil. And I got the chili sauce. I usually just measure out, a couple of tablespoons. Just enough to give it that little bit of redness and a little bit of chili flavored. So. And 3 cups of cheese, so just have to wait for the oil to warm up, and that's about it. Yeah, just gonna get this going. Okay, so let's see how the well is. It's getting there. I think my next investment in terms of cookware is getting cast iron. Either a cast iron or a tempered glass frying pan. So at least with tempered glass I can go, it's kind of like the cast iron, where you can go from stovetop directly into the oven. Except with tempered glass, it's set for a higher temperature. So so up to I think it was like 900 degrees. Cast iron I think goes to like 500. So it's a little bit better. It cooks food in about 3/4 of the time. So might want to do an investment in that. There's a company called Visionware that I used to use all the time as a kid. It was like non-stick, although the set that I had was like 20-some years old, or 20 years. It's quite a number of years old, and it worked quite well. I think I only had one pot shatter. They had the entire set, so it was like you had the potato pot, the Dutch oven, the medium pot, the small pot, and then you had like small frying pan, medium frying pan, large, or it was kind of like this pan, but it was more square bottom. But it was really nice to do stir fries and such, and I could throw my pan or pots and pans in the oven to finish cooking or whatever. It's a nice set. Just have to figure out where to get it. Oh, I'm gonna just spice that up a little bit. Where's my garlic? And I like adding in a little bit of flavor into my vegetables, so I'm going to do a little bit of turmeric. What's nice about turmeric and the mustard is it helps the flavor of the carrot. I accidentally figured that out when I was 10 or 12. I was cooking. I'm like, I accidentally dropped a little bit of turmeric and mustard into my pan. I was trying to get the vegetables cooked, and sure enough, when they were cooked, carrots tasted a little bit more carrot-ish, or carroty. Like it really brought out the carrot flavor. So I'm going to continue doing that from that point on. So it was a happy accident. And sometimes when you're cooking, it's those small little things that kind of help you figure out new ways of cooking or new ways of enhancing flavor. It's a lot of fun. Cooking doesn't have to be hard. Seeing all those professional cooks is a bit intimidating, especially for somebody who does country cooking. So at least this way you guys can see the imperfections of actual cooking. And this is all uncut, so you don't have to worry about trying to figure out how long this cooks for, and this whole footage is going to be how long it takes for this stuff to cook. So, I think the only thing that I cut in pieces is I think it's just the chili, if I remember correctly. So the chili is the only one so far out of my recipes that's been cut. I did that on purpose because it's a 2-hour chili, so I didn't want to film for the full 2 and almost 3 hours long. So I filmed the step up to where I simmer for 2 hours, and then I cut back in for the last little bit. So that one is the only one that is actually cut. Yeah. So everything else is all uncut, so I don't have to worry about that. It's really surprising. Some of these recipes I thought it would take a lot longer than they actually did, because I've never actually timed them. After I filmed, I look at how long the footage is. I'm like, oh really? It only took me that long to cook. Wow. Just like, what was it? I think it was the salmon casserole was the one that really surprised me. So I did that one like under half an hour. I thought it would take a lot longer. No, yeah, less than half an hour. Half an hour. what was the other one that was surprising? I'm trying to remember which recipe that was. Let me look on my phone because I remember what day I filmed. So. Let's go on to my schedule. There we go. I think it was the Alfredo. Correctly. Yeah, it's the Alfredo, because it only took like 40 something minutes, which surprised me because I thought it would take like an hour, and no, it was ready in 40 minutes. I was like, okay, cool. What's the other one that I like? The scones took me about half an hour or so. Half an hour, 40 minutes. That one was kind of typical because I really needed the dough, and I wanted to make sure that everything was cooked and incorporated in lots of stuff. The beef stroganoff, the one that's the previous episode, that one took, I think, 41 minutes, which again surprised me. A lot of these recipes surprised me in either how short it took or how well it turned out. But yeah, this is just waiting on the veggies to cook. Once this starts boiling, then I'll turn on the other, because it'll take about 10 minutes for the water. Oh, 5-10 minutes. And there we go. Of course, somebody set my phone down and I get notifications. Never mind, just newsletter. So I've got like 3 more episodes to film. At this time, when I'm filming this, I only have like 3 more after this to film. So 3 more days of filming, that's it for a while. I have to refilm one of the episodes because the camera decided to cut mid-recording, so I have to redo them. But you won't notice that because you'll just see the episode come up. I might actually do the take 1 of that episode as kind of like a bonus video. Yeah, I just have to. It's not quite boiling yet. It just needs another minute. Okay. Until it's like really boiling. So I want these things to be like cooking pretty good. So meat is waiting for that to say 7 and then I can turn on the other. But yeah, these are like max an hour long recipe, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. So I'm going to start you and turn you down to 5, just kind of in between 4 and 6. To cook, waiting for the water to boil now. So once that's done, I got my 2 cups of, yes, this is Italian style fusilli. I'll show you the difference between Italian style, or Italian, basically, and what our North American stuff is. Okay, so Italian, American. Do you see the difference? They're both fusilli, but this is the true Italian. This is what you would get in a normal store. So very, very. Let's see. Can I do that? There we go. There we go. See? So big size difference. So since I'm doing this in like an actual to how the hamburger helper, the actual hamburger helper version is, I went with the Italian style fusilli. So this is more like what you would find for rotani, what you would normally get for Italian. So that's fine. I know normally with hamburger helper you do everything in the pan with the water and all that sort of stuff, but I kind of like doing this method. It's a little bit easier to know what's cooking or what's cooking for how long and what is in what. So it's not confusing. And once the pasta is done, which reminds me, I need the strainer once that pasta is done. So, anyways, like once the pasta is done, then I drain it, put the pasta in here, and then I make the cheese sauce separate. And once that's done, then I incorporate everything and let it simmer in the one pan. Yeah, for some reason the pot likes leaking near the edge. So I'm just waiting for the water to boil. Just takes a little bit. Look at it. Okay. So most of the liquid's already gone out of this, which is good. I just want to steam these a little bit so that my veg is mostly cooked, not like overcooked yet. pepper is ready. Everything's already in there. Turn that down. Unlike people with ground beef, my ground crumbles, I don't really have to worry about cooking. I just have to break it up, throw it in, and there we go. So with ground beef, you tend to really have to cook it for like 5-10 minutes until it's this brown color. It'll probably be like a brownie or gray brown. If you're using hamburger, you don't want to overcook it either. So you just want to cook it till it's well done and very crumbly. Again, the stuff I use, you don't really have to cook it, you just have to heat it up, which saves time for me, but it usually only takes about maybe 5-10 minutes tops to burn up hamburger. So one I really wish would happen is they don't fortify their flour with all this stuff. With all-purpose flour, period, I wish they would stop enriching it with mineral vitamins. That stuff does not get digested by the body, it just goes right through you. It's 2 cups. Yeah, that should be enough. It's, like I said, in the recipe, I said that you can use any type of pasta with this. I'm using what you would find in the Hamburger Helper box. So I've broken down, found what flavors or what spices are needed for this recipe and for the beef stroganoff. The cheesy macaroni, that one's easy. It's basically, you take the Italian side out of that, you switch for like using a zucchini relish instead of chili sauce, but the cheese sauce itself is the same. You might want to use like either a shark cheddar or like either old or shark cheddar, something that gives it that, oops, sorry, forgot to turn it down, something that, what I'm going to do, because this is a trick that Italians use. Okay, oh shush, come on. Italians use this trick to make sure that the water doesn't boil over. I just didn't turn it down. But yeah. So with the cheesy manconi, again, it's just you switch this stuff out for a couple of tablespoons of the zucchini relish, or you don't have to. You just omit it, period. And then it's just the mustard powder, salt, and turmeric that you put in the cheese sauce. And that's basically it. Everything else, like the hamburger part, is about the same, and you just use 2 cups of whatever pasta you want. They use macaroni in that box recipe, but you can use any type. So. There, a little bit of tidbit of information. I just have to wait. Oh, right. Let's time it first. Yeah, it's only been a minute. So. Can't keep getting the messages. I'm trying to film. Well, so that's why I'm kind of off screen for a minute while I'm waiting for the pasta to cook. I basically had nothing else to do other than make sure the pasta's water doesn't overflow. That's about it, really. I got this thing down enough that it's gonna do its own thing. And I got the chili sauce already ready, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, this is a neat little trick for cooking pasta. It's having like a wooden spoon, or in this case, a couple of chopsticks, just to help with making sure the water doesn't overflow. This is a neat trick. It kind of makes the chopsticks a little hot for stirring, but I don't really mind. Just want to make sure my cooking space here is well wiped. Might as well just get this guy going here. Get it a little washed up. That way I have one less dish to do. Oh, I'll still have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dishes to do. Oh, 8 dishes to do. And then the rest can go in the dishwasher. One thing I like is having a dishwasher. Cuts down on the amount of dishes you actually have to do. So yeah, got 6 more minutes. This is probably going to make it like almost al dente. Could go for another couple of minutes, but yeah. I haven't cooked this particular pasta in a long time, so cooking time may be easier for me. But yeah, I definitely like that tri-pasta when it comes to doing the Alfredo. It's a little smaller pasta, absorbs the sauce really well. Yeah. 5 more minutes. There we go. That's that one done. Just that bit of. Just 5 more minutes and then that's done. Oh good, 4 more minutes to go. Should actually stir the meat. Make sure it doesn't stick on the bottom. stir this a little bit. Just don't want this stuff to get all burned on the bottom. I'm actually going to switch over to the rubber scraper. I find this stirs a lot faster and helps with getting all the side stuff dead. There we go. So I got 3 more minutes and then the pasta will be ready, and then all I have left is the cheese sauce. Oh, let me put that away. There we go. So yeah, this is a fun recipe. Very easy to, like, it's not taking me much to do this recipe. Really, I just have that step to do. Yeah, once the pasta is cooked, then I just turn it down to medium, and then I can do the rest of the food. Okay. So, power goes off because it's basically not. I don't need. Actually, I guess I do need this. Just for a split second while I do pasta. So, do one last stir. Holy crap, these things. Oh, come on, yes. Man, these are little slippery devils. Yeah, there my chopsticks are broken. No, they're just crooked. Okay. Like warped. Usually I can grab a piece of... Really? Usually I can grab... Like, I'm super good with chopsticks. It's just... This pasta is really slippery. Let's just say this stuff just doubled in size. If not, almost tripled in size. So that makes it nice and big. So, got a pan, got my 1/4 cup of butter, and I'm just dropping it in. I'm going to let it melt. So, yeah, got 1/4 cup of water. Just need to wash or wipe my hand. So yeah, that pasta. You saw how big the dry pasta was, right? This is the after it's cooked pasta. It's gigantic. Well, this is the type of pasta that was used in the hamburger helper, or the cheesy Italian hamburger helper. So that's what I'm using. Already get the tomatoey side of things already. I just need to do the cheesy side. Tomato is then the cheesy will be done in a second. What I like about grass-fed butter, it doesn't burn as fast as regular butter, which is very interesting. I can actually take my dear old time to get the flour. And I'm just taking a regular everyday tablespoon. And then I just grab some like that. And that's all you want. And then you really want to stir this quick. Otherwise it's going to burn. Which is why I put it on medium, because I want to make sure this goes lickety-split. So I don't need more. And as you see, I'm constantly stirring. I'm going to add in my milk. Add in some of my milk, not all of it at once. So I go down half a cup. And then I go vigorously stir because some of the flour decided to stick on the bottom. That's the other reason why I like using chopsticks, because you can scrape the bottom without scratching the bottom. We're using a grass rather than my spices now. So add a little bit. Stir it in. And this is already thickening. That's what happens with this, is it'll thicken pretty quick. So you want to add in another half. Holy crap, I'm really good at measuring. I was doing like half a cup at a time, which is kind of interesting because I'm never that good at measuring. So yeah, it'll thicken up as it goes along, so you want to make sure. Look at this. Let me take it off for the heat for a second. Oh wait, you probably can't see it. Damn. Just gonna show you what it looks like. Here, I'm just gonna quickly move the camera to where you can. There we go. So where you can see the sauce. That, my friend, there we go. Like I said, this is all uncut. That, my friend, is the color that you want for this sauce. As I crash, bang, boom, back to, there we go. So yeah, this is how the sauce is. I just want to continue stirring. It'll start thickening up. It's actually turned out a little better than I thought it would. But yeah, I added in a little bit of Italian seasoning because I kind of want that. I'm going to add another half cup. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to add the rest. That way, I have the base portion of the sauce. I'll stir that a little bit and make sure that my bottom doesn't have anything. I'm pretty sure. A bit of flour stuck on the bottom. That's right. Get at that later. So, that's going to go over there and wash that up. And I think it's just about time for just about ready to add in the cheese. But yeah, this is one of my many favorites. At this point, every single recipe that I'm doing is my favorite. So yeah, you don't have to add the oregano and basil. I just did because a little bit more flavor. So I'm going to add in my cheese, and I'm just going to add the entire clump and whatever is left in the bowl. Here we go. This is almost done. And then now I get to kind of separate it. And this will thicken as it goes along, so it's got a nice color, which I'm really liking. And if it does get a little too thick for your taste, you can always thin it out with a little bit more milk. But this is basically it. I like my sauces a little bit more buttery, so I don't do my roux as a 1-to-1 ratio. I do a 1/4-to-1. So 1 tablespoon of flour to 1/4 cup of butter. Just helps with keeping it nice and smooth. And I'm just stirring this, make sure everything is all incorporated. Basically, the color of the sauce right now is what you want in like a regular sauce, minus the Italian seasoning and the chili powder. So, I get to see that when I actually make the shells and cheese. Because I have like 2 versions that I like doing. There's the quick version, which is using the anise pasta, and then you just add a tablespoon of cheese whiz and a cup of shredded cheese. The other method is similar to this cheese sauce here, so I'm just not sure if I want to bake it or not. I'm just waiting for this to thicken enough. I mean, it's coating my chopsticks pretty well, so this is almost ready. And as you see, I haven't changed the temperature of the cheese sauce, so keeping it at the medium mark, because cooking it too slowly, you're not gonna thicken. Cooking it too much, you're gonna burn the bottom. So keeping it at medium heat is going to, it's kind of like that happy medium in the literal sense. Yeah, it's starting to boil, so this is almost ready for me to pour in. So yeah, I think it's ready. So turn that off. I got that where I need to simmer, so then I pour that golden sauce. Holy crap. That is very, very golden sauce. Holy. It is the way I made it the last few times I've done this recipe. I'm just taking the rubber scraper and making sure that I get every morsel. This cheese is very, very good. And I'll make sure that I have everything. Make sure that I wipe my thing. I got as much as I can. Okay, this is turning more into the cheesy manicotti. That's right. Or the cheesy, was it cheesy macaroni or cheeseburger macaroni or something? I don't think I added enough chili sauce. Well, that's right. What I can do. Oh, no, I added it already. Okay. Because what this will do is the chili sauce that's in the sauce, or that's in with the meat, will start turning the cheese sauce into like an orangey red. Goes from a bright orange to more of a, almost a brown, but kind of like a orangey brown. And then I just let that sit for 5 minutes, I think. Let's say 3 minutes. Let me check it afterwards. I'm just gonna wash my dishes. But yeah, this is good so far. Again, this is another recipe that's turned out a lot better than the last few times I've made this. Granted, the last few times I never actually measured my spices, so it's turning out a lot better. You can add like if you really want to, you can add a little bit of like pasta sauce to give it that little bit of ruddy flavor. I probably will in a second. I'm just trying to. I don't want the sauce to curdle, so I'll add that into like the last little bit. So there we go. Got my thing done. Yeah, it's all 8 o'clock already. So this has been about 40 minutes, which is grand. Another recipe that's under an hour. It should be about an hour by the time it's actually done. And you can go as thick as you want, like simmering time. I usually do about 5 minutes, but depends on how thick you want your sauce. If you want it a little thinner, you can get less time. If you really want it thin, you could just go from the sauce to this. But yeah, that's the whole recipe. I'm just going to add a little bit of tomato sauce. And it's going to add more cheese once I grab it here. I will say one thing for Classico jars, or for Classico period. They really put the lids on tight. I had a heck of a time opening that one. I needed it. So yeah, I'm just adding a little bit more tomato just to give it that little extra redness that you see with the other sauce. And this shouldn't curdle it. No, it doesn't. Good. I don't want like the... Okay, shush. I don't want this to be like too tomatoey and then kind of curdle the sauce. So I'm like being very leery. So I put in like, I think it was about 3 tablespoons of this. So yeah, there we go. That's the red color I was looking for. And since the sauce I was using is like 4 cheese, it's even more cheese. It's a little bit more tomato. And then I'm just kind of scraping the edge, make sure. Kind of leave that for, let's say, 3 more minutes. It gives me enough time to wash everything else. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward with this recipe. You saw how straightforward it was for me. And yeah, with when you start the roux, stirring it really rapidly is probably the best choice for making sure that making sure the flour doesn't kind of stick to the bottom. What you also could do is take like a 1/4 cup of milk and then dissolve your flour in that, and then incorporate it into the 3/4 cup and 3/4 of milk, and then put it into the thing. You can do it that way, and that'll also be thickened. It'll also thicken that way too, because then your milk is already incorporated, or the flour is already incorporated into the milk, and then you just put it into the butter, and it should thicken. It's been a while since I've done that method. And I'm almost done with my dishes. Just setting my dishes because this camera's in the way. I do fit in my hand. There we go. Okay. I'll move almost done, almost done. But yeah, it's looking the way it should. I'll start once that timer goes off, which is going to be in a minute. And which means I'm going to do like my counter first. I'm doing my sieve last because I still have to do the rotate thing. So I'm going to wipe my counter, get that in the flour that's on the counter. And whatever other mess I have on here. There we go. Now I'm going to bring my bowl over because supper is ready. You can make it a little thicker if you want, but to me this is ready. This is the way I kind of want it. It smells fantastic. There we go. So, last but not least, time to plate. You can actually thicken the sauce a little bit more. Sort of rushed the thickening process, but that's alright. I don't want it like too thick, and I don't want it too runny. If it sticks to things, to me, that's finished. Maybe one more scoop. Need some more vegetable and pasta on the cube. So that should be about right. That. There we go. I'm gonna make sure that I get as much of this on this spoon. I'm gonna toss it. Well, before I toss it on the floor. I'll deal with that in a second. Well, I always make a mess when I'm doing this. But yeah, that's basically the meal. So, with that, alright, let me bring you more into the light without making a mess. There we go. Good, there we go. So yeah, that's the cheesy Italian. So I'm gonna go and finish my dishes and get done. So well, that's pretty much it for making this meal. Hope it was somewhat enjoyable and educational. Look forward to the next episode of Eclipse Kitchen. Here's where you could find me and my counterpart. Follow us on Twitter and join our Facebook group where you'll get regular updates on what's going on. Subscribe to this channel and our main channel to see all the wonderful content we'll bring to you. And last but not least, become a Patreon and donate to our coffee to show your support for more content like this and more. You all have a great day.